pregnant with him, I listened to the Sam Cooke albums, and so there's always been music playing. Even though I can't sing, I did sing to him, and it's just, music's always just been a big part of our lives. But probably when he was, he's gonna kill me for this, when he was like 2, 3, 4, something like that, he had this little guitar, and like, man, he would be like singing Trace Atkins and what was the moment, dude? Billy Ray Cyrus, and like the kids always loved music, but when I realized that it moved his soul, he was probably maybe 15, something like that, and he's had a guitar in his hand ever since he's been 15. So.
His father passed, so he was 13, 14. Arthur about the same age, and they just dove into it. I mean, once they got the bug, and the same with me and their father. You know, once we got the music bug and figured out just a few 3 chords on the guitar, it's all over.
Watching the tide roll away, just a sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change, everything still remains the same.
I always have it playing constantly. I rarely turn the television on, always have some sort of music playing. And he was just inundated with it from the time he was small, so it was kind of natural that he liked it, but he likes to perform, to put on a show. He started doing theater when he was really little, so that was really kind of where I thought he was going. You know, the drama, you know, he loved it. He did barter for 7 or 8 seasons. Adored it, just loved it, but somewhere along the way, I guess he was probably 10, 11, I can't remember, he got a little interested in guitar, and I got him, you know, not a really great guitar, but I got him a guitar, and one of the guys he performed with at Barter, Ben McElroy, taught him, you know, started teaching him some things, some basics, and taught him chords and all that. He liked it, and he messed around with it quite a bit, and he enjoyed it. And he always liked to sing, and he sang like in musical theater, doing shows at Barter, but he didn't get as heavily into it yet then, because he did a couple more years at theater. But he kind of hit a point where he was too big to play little on stage and too young to play adult, and then he really dived deeper into the instrument, and he took more lessons with a guy named Buddy Woodward and then with Tim Peretti, and it's been non-stop since then. So I'd say seriously, probably since about 13.
I wanna walk along the shore, drop to my knees and thank the Lord I didn't drown on that ship. I wanna come back home and sing all the songs I ain't forgotten yet. Oh, but I don't know, I can't run the show no more.
was probably, I'll say 12 years old. Well, I go back. He was smaller when his papa would pick up a guitar. His papa Doug would pick up a guitar and start playing. He played a lot of bluegrass, country music, and Ryan always wanted to be up there with papa on his lap playing the guitar. So I kind of thought he had an interest in music at that time. But when he became 12, he got into listening to what his daddy liked, which was AC/DC and more of our 80s type rock. So he got an obsession with Angus Young, and he wanted to play guitar like Angus Young. So about 12 years old, he really got serious about it. He was playing in church, and it sparked something. So the rest is kind of history. Him and his brother always had an interest in music, and Cameron was a little hyper, so we couldn't wait to get him interested in something to get some of that energy out.
Did he start playing the drums at first?
Yeah, drums always been his passion. I mean, I have an old picture of him and his brother, and Cameron's pretending to play the drums, and his brother's playing a guitar, and Cameron was probably in like first or second grade.
Held my breath, stayed in while I waited to say this. Lately been craving this sweet abyss that you left me to. I spoke your name, felt nothing as something inside me changed, forgetting to miss you. Like these days with not much else to do. I've had it worse before, I've had it far worse than this, 'cause I've always wanted more, more of everything I can't resist. Oh, more of everything I can't resist. And on my darkest night, I can still hear your voice. If this is my demise, at least I can say I had a choice. At least I can say I had a choice. Whoa, now I'm wishing I went a different way, and I'm missing things she used to say. Every single day while I'm listening to the songs we used to play. Listening to the songs we used to play. I'm fading to the darkest shade of gray. Darkest shade.
They had a Bristol Sessions too, which was the Bristol Sessions is what made the Carters and Jimmy Rogers famous. So they had a Bristol Sessions too, which was really fun, and I sent in a tape for it, and I got in it.
Lisa,
Yes.
do you play any instruments or sing?
No. Not a lick of talent. None. None.
And did Jake growing up, did he take lessons?
He did. He took lessons from the guy that he had a music school out near Bays Mountain. His name has left me right now, but yeah,
Happens to all of us.
absolutely.
Terry McCoy is who taught me this downtown Kingsport.
Yeah.
Did Arthur take lessons?
I think he took some bass lessons from my bass player. He's at Morel's Music.
Wow.
Did you ever?
Everybody's like, I'm okay if you don't ask me a question.
Did you ever teach them yourself? Like
Yes.
the basics and stuff?
Yes, absolutely, because Megas actually did, I was doing some Sheryl Crow, and he did some of the lead parts in Sheryl Crow with me. We did some Metallica together, and some Jimi Hendrix together. And I actually played bass for Comet, so I played bass for Megas as well, when he was learning.
And Lisa, how did you balance your work life, home life, and taking Jake to music lessons and stuff?
I've been extremely blessed that I have always had time to be able to devote to making sure that, you know, he got to where he was supposed to be, and I've had a lot of time with Jake, a lot of stay-at-home time with Jake, so extremely blessed.
How about you, Cheryl?
Joseph at Morel's.
That's it. That's it.
I can't forget his name, Joseph at Morel's. He's a really good local bass player. He's played with many people. He actually was on Bristol sessions too with me, as well as my guitar player with my band, which was Jeff.
And how was it for you managing home life, work life, and taking your sons to music lessons?
Well, I didn't have a day job for 2 years after Rick passed, and it wasn't too hard. And I only worked with my band on Sunday nights, so I only worked with them once a week. And I always loved hanging out in a music store while my sons. And actually, our studio, our rehearsal studio, was in the same building as Megus's rehearsals, so I could get into my studio and kind of mess around while he was taking lessons.
I don't know if I really think of them as sacrifices, but it's been a time investment. You know, it's been time. You're going to lessons and going to shows and hosting practices at home, and it gets a little loud sometimes. We're used to. We don't really do that anymore, but you know, you kind of take on that life when your kid's that immersed in it when they're young. True. And he was so young that it just kind of naturally bled over into mine too. So, but it's been wonderful too, because like within him doing that, I've made a whole different set of friends, and you know, it's been a good thing for both of us.
So what's it like raising a child, creativity and culture that doesn't necessarily appreciate the arts?
We're in a kind of a catch-22 situation where we live in Abingdon, lived there all my life and all of his, and Abingdon's kind of a pocket in Southwest Virginia, and I think Bristol has a lot of that too. Our region is lucky that they appreciate a lot of things, but the larger Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee community as a whole, I don't know that it's necessarily valued as much as it might be in a more urban situation like a New York or Chicago or Austin, but it's, you know, it's kind of, some people kind of scoff, you know, they're like, oh, what do you do? Well, I'm a musician, you know, and they're like, oh, okay. I don't think that some people necessarily take it very seriously when it's very serious to him. You know, he's very sincere. I think that's probably, and he's young, obviously, he's 20, but I would say as far as consistency in his life, his devotion to it, that is the most constant thing.
Definitely.
You know, he's devoted to it and he's passionate about it.
Well, my mom bought him a guitar when he was about 10, and it was an acoustic guitar, but at that time he was into other things. But at 12, like I said, with AC/DC and Angus Young, he just had this fascination with how he would play the guitar, and he wanted to get an electric guitar like he had. So Ryan went to, actually he had a four-wheeler. He wanted us to buy him a guitar, and just, you know, as a parent, we didn't want to hand him everything. So we said, you need to save money and get a guitar. He said, well, I don't have a job. How am I going to save money and get a guitar? So I said, well, you have a four-wheeler. Sell your four-wheeler and get a guitar. So he did. And he went down to JJ's House of Music and got a starter kit and started playing guitar. He got lessons from, I believe, Mac Partain was the guy that was giving lessons there at the time, and a guy that we went to church with, Billy Crawford. A few people might know him. He worked there and helped Ryan, along with that. He went to our church as well, so he had some good influences during that time period.
Did Ryan have the long hair and the look?
Yes, he had the long hair, and Mom didn't like. I did not like it. You couldn't see his eyes. He looked like a sheepdog. We always wanted him to cut his hair, but he wouldn't do it. So he was trying to be a rocker.
A rocker.
Yeah.
Every boy's dream, right?
Every boy's dream, I guess. Some boys want to be a baseball player. Some want to be a guitar player, I guess.
So what sacrifices have you made as being a parent for him to be a musician?
Well, a lot of sleep.
Sleep?
Yeah, you might want to go to sleep, and there's basement sessions. Your appropriately titled show here, basement sessions going on, and so we learned to sleep with earplugs in our ears and those types of things. So. And I think every parent doesn't envision their child being a rocker at first. You think, oh, they might be a doctor, they might be something else, and when they come home and say, I want to be a musician, a rock star, you're kind of like, well, you might need a backup. But still, we wanted to foster that creativity, and he was always an artist type. He likes to draw. If you've never seen his drawings, you really should check that out.
I'll have to see those one day.
Yeah, they're interesting, very good. When he was in 5th grade.
5th grade. Did he take drum lessons?
He did briefly, and then he just basically learned it himself.
Did you have to take him anywhere for lessons?
I did. I took him it was just out on, I think it's Music Doctors, and that's where he went and got some lessons, and then he just started playing himself. He got, the drums he plays now are the drums he got when he was in 5th grade. He just kind of tweaked them himself.
Modified it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Were you working at the time?
I did. Yeah, I've always worked full time.
How did you balance your work life and taking him to lessons and practices?
And his dad also worked shift work, so that was kind of hard. But my parents helped me out a lot.
That's nice.
My mom and dad, they helped me out a lot with him and get him where he needed to be.
And how many hours a day did he practice?
Any time that he could get on the drums and his dad wasn't sleeping during the day, he would play. Particularly when he got home from school. If nobody was home, he wanted to play. So he could play all day if we let him.
When did he get serious with playing the drums?
He played in the band when he was in middle school.
Is that like a marching band?
Yeah, he was in Robinson's band in middle school, and then he played a little bit. They broke off, and he had a band, and some of his friends formed a band, a Christian band, during high school. And when he went away to college, he couldn't take his drums with him, but he never lost the art of playing the drums.
Arthur is a little more pop and more hard rock and more alternative rock even. Magus is more traditional rock blues. But they're constantly growing and changing. So, but in the beginning, their first, like Arthur's first inspirations were the Ramones, and Magus's first inspiration was Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
So,
I love the Ramones.
Yeah.
and they grew up in folk music Americana, so they already knew that that sound.
Jimmy.
When they were growing up, taking lessons, did they ever get frustrated and say, I quit?
No.
It really came naturally for them,
Yeah.
as it did for me when I picked it up. So I think that is a big plus into it. It almost grabs you. You know, you're not really looking for it, but
It grabs you at the right time. Every time.
yeah, I can explain it. But it was the same with me and the same with her father. You know, once it grabbed us, it was a lifetime commitment. We loved it.
Question I want to know is, how did Jake and Magus meet?
Through Arthur, and possibly through Alec.
Yeah, Alec Lawson.
Because
Yeah.
I
Give
think
shout out
Jake
to
was
Alec
Alec's
Lawson.
friend,
Yeah.
and also Arthur's friend. We were neighbors with their little friend Alec.
Yeah.
And Magus might been in a band then? See, I don't know the exact age, but they were skateboarders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the little clique there. Megas was already real committed in music.
Yeah.
So
Megas was like the
That's all he
godfather,
did.
like, da-da-da-da. Yeah. But as Jake got around Megas and like his goal was to be as good enough to stand beside Megas and play. Like Megas has influenced Jake a whole lot, not only musically, but like the dude's solid, and like Megas and the guys from 49 Winchester, and of course Jake's band now, probably the most loyal cats I've ever seen. So like the energy, like me and Cheryl talk about on their NPR concert submission, like the harmony between Megas and Jake, and like a lot of people have mentioned to me, Jake sings with his eyes closed most of the time, but in this video, like you seen his eye contact, but it's crazy because they both like feel Comet's influence, and at times you can hear that in their music, can't you?
they say they do.
Yeah, but it's just it was meant, those paths were meant to cross for a reason, and not only just musically, but the friendships.
2007 is when I remember the metal band.
Yeah.
And so Jake joined the metal band, the second version of the metal band.
Yeah,
Because it was the first.
or something.
Yeah, that was the second version.
Yeah.
The first version was Horror Society.
Yeah.
With Arthur on bass.
Yeah. So they were screamers.
And that was
great.
That was when I was
Yeah.
giving up music because I took them to New York to record metal with a friend of Mike's, the drummer's. It was a friend of his because he grew up on Long Island, and so we drove up there. Right after Christmas, we drove over there and they recorded. It was all original metal. It was awesome.
It was
awesome
really
music.
good.
And that band it was a matter of finding a singer who could scream, because you can't do metal
Not
music
everybody can
without that
scream.
metal singer. So that was so Jake joined them when they got the second metal singer, and the band got bigger, and Arthur wasn't playing bass, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael joined his bass, and I think Mike Lebrano, being the drummer from New York, he had a really strong double bass. I mean, he was just all over the place. It was perfect for metal.
Absolutely.
So it was a good time in their life for them to be able to get that out.
Yeah.
Oh, did they have long hair?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's like
Do we have any picture of
we
Jake?
do. I do have a picture of Jake.
Long straight hair,
I
Megas
will-
is
Well,
long.
you have to send it to
You
me.
never saw
I will
faces.
send that to you, but I mean long, black, and just it's crazy the phases, because we went through that, and we went through dreads, we went through the Bob Dylan influence, and he's just Jake now. He's on his he knows it, that's his.
You have to go through those.
Yeah,
to learn,
absolutely.
because you learn. They
Yeah.
learn how to, and also how to write music, because they're all songwriters.
Yes,
we're
they
all
are.
songwriters.
All right.
So if you're going to write and do your own stuff, you have to go through these
Yeah.
phases.
Don't sign yourself, right?
I hate it.
I really hate it. I hate it because the same parts of your brain that the arts stimulate it stimulates the part of your brain that can help you with more traditionally academic studies. And I also just think that, I don't know, the world is hard and it's cold. It's increasingly colder. I think we see that every day. And art is a great uniter,
Children need a way to express themselves.
They do, and they need to learn to appreciate beauty, and they need to learn to appreciate interpretation and differences, and
Right,
that
whether
it's
it be music or
okay.
art or anything.
They need to, when cultures disappear, like, lost civilizations, what remains are their stories and their artifacts. They're beautiful things they've left behind and passed down, and those things aren't lost. They're petty little squabbles in their day-to-day. We don't know about those. They're gone. The things we know about, the things that remain and that resonate, is their art. It's what they created that was beautiful that remains. So it hurts my feelings that I think our kids don't necessarily get the same opportunities that they should. When I was a kid, we had art at least once a week, if not twice. Like, actual, you know, drawing, painting, and we had music 2 or 3 times a week. And then band started in 5th grade, and you know, we just had a lot of exposure. And I know with budget cuts and different things and increasing standardization in schools, a lot of that's getting lost.
Was it hard for you to go to work every day and then come home and take them to lessons or go through shows?
Not really. Not really. I was fairly young when I had Logan. I wasn't like a teenage mother, but I was pretty young, and lots of times I say that we grew up together. So I think that probably that helps because I am a younger mother, so my energy level wasn't too low. And we did kind of grow up together in a lot of ways. We're buddies. Now I have to be his mom, obviously, and try to keep some reason and sanity in the kingdom.
Times he needs guidance as well.
Yeah, but I think probably honestly theater was more tiring just because the pace was different. You know, it was an everyday thing, but with the music, so much of that he does at home on his own. You know, we're at home, and that's pretty cool. You know, he usually does rehearsal maybe 2 times a week, and then, you know, when he has gigs, but again, that's usually weekends, and it's fun. It's fun, so I don't mind that.
So how did Logan get his first start playing at the venue?
That would be our dear friend Stu Wright in Damascus. He was running a place called the Old Mill then. He's got a new place now, 7 Trails Grill in Damascus, but Stu's just a beautiful spirit in our world, and we just love him, and he's always loved us, and he liked Logan a lot, and he just gave him the opportunity, and that was his first paid gig, they say. So
Was you nervous for it?
I was excited for him. Yeah, I was excited for him. I think because he had been doing a different sort of art for so long and in front of audiences, I wasn't nervous because he wasn't nervous.
Okay.
You know, he's the kind of person, and I envy him for that because he's more comfortable in front of 500 people than he is in front of 5. Not that he plays to crowds that size now, because he doesn't. But, you know,
one
maybe.
day.
Yeah, that's the goal someday.
That's the goal.
You know.
And you're his biggest supporter
Yes.
in life and
Always.
his music.
Always.
And when you're attending a show, have you ever heard of anybody in the audience boo him?
No. No. We've had a couple of occasions where people will do it at shows, you know, especially at festivals. They'll drink too much and get rowdy and talk through a show. That kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's a social thing for a lot of people, and they don't look at it as being rude or dismissive, but to me it is, because when you love a musician and you watch what they put into it, you want people to listen, you know.
And not talk.
And it's like, if you're gonna talk, go outside. You know, go somewhere else. Go to a sports bar. You know, be respectful. It's a gift. Someone's giving you a piece of themselves, and you should listen and appreciate that for what it is.
Did you ever think he would pursue a career in music?
Not when he was younger. No, I would not have bet on that when he was younger. I really, really thought for a long time that it would be drama that he would do. If he were going to pursue something in the arts, I thought it would be the dramatic arts. I really did. I thought it would be theater.
And you as a mother, do you have second thoughts behind having a career in music?
I have some concerns just because the industry's changed so much. It's hard. You know, I don't think we're going to see superstars like Bob Dylan again. I don't think we're going to see superstars like Tom Petty again. You get a few that break out in pop, you know, but that's very canned, generic kind of music to me. But he understands that, and so many of our friends in the local music world know too that, you know, you got to have the day jobs to pay your bills. You got to eat. You know, you work to do what you love, you know, and that's, as long as he's able to support himself and, you know, is practical about that, I'm all for in his free time pursuing his passion. And if it turns into something that can sustain him financially, that's wonderful. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. You know, it's just the digital world has changed so much for musicians, and it's kind of sad and it's kind of wonderful. Everyone has kind of more access in a way, but it's hard for the standouts to get noticed that way too, you know.
It's true.
So much is lost in the sea of people.
Thinking of today's society, that the arts is appreciated.
Definitely here. We're in Bristol.
Oh, yeah.
And where else can you be? Where else can you raise a kid besides Nashville or Atlanta or LA that you might have this kind of environment where your kid can go to an event or a venue like Bloom or somewhere like that and do an open mic. Because Shannon Bumgardner, a lady that I know, contacted me recently. She said, my son wants to play. And what do I do? It's all he wants to do. So I told her, I said, take him to an open mic. And she said, where are those? And I named off 15 or so, and she took him, and he has really taken off. So watch for Jackie Bumgardner if you haven't seen him.
Here, look him up.
Yeah.
She might be the winner chicken dinner.
What's your thoughts on the schools cutting back on the arts? In school?
Well,
the funding part.
I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame when they cut back on. Every kid learns differently, and so my child didn't learn the same way that another child would. He had to, it had to be something creative, or it just didn't click with him. But I think even when you talk about shop classes and things like that, it's a shame because not everybody has the niche to go to college or something like that. But
and now you see on the headlines they want people with more trade skills.
Yeah. So we really need to get our schools to reconsider that. I was in band in junior high school, so I think it's really important.
When Ryan was younger, did he ever get frustrated and say, I'll quit with the guitar?
No, never. No, the guitar was his best friend. He would disappear into his room for hours or the basement or wherever and just play. It wasn't, I've never heard him say I want to quit the guitar, ever.
And you told me before Ryan had some shows after school about his bands and whatnot. Was that hard for him to get to go to school next day?
No, Ryan is a night owl, and well, actually I take that back. Ryan has never been easy to get up in the morning, so that wasn't anything different. That was from day one. So no, he would play, and it's funny, after school the kids were always at our house when he first started playing. I remember Jacob Browder and Brian Bourne and Danielle and people like that coming over, just to, if not to listen, to play. So we had a lot of kids also starting to play just from from being around Ryan in the basement.
Was it hard for you and his dad?
For us to what?
Listen to music all night?
No, I love me. You know me. I love music.
End up going to work the next day?
Dad, yes, maybe, but me, no. We adjusted. We adjusted to it.
How did Ryan get his first start playing his first venue?
His first venue, him alone or with a group?
Well, at the first time ever.
Oh, the first time ever, he was, I think, besides church, I think he was with Billy Crawford, probably. And they would get up and do guitar duels together and, just play. So for me, it was a really proud moment the first time I went to, I believe it was, I want to say Wolf Hills maybe, had just opened, and they had let him get up there on stage and play, or it may have been another place in Abingdon, but I remember it being a really exciting time for Mama.
Where did he practice at when he was growing up?
In our house.
Was it in like a basement or just in his room?
No, in his room. Yep, we let him set it up and just have at it.
Did that drive you crazy?
I loved it. I loved to hear him play those drums. And when his brother would play the guitar, I would love it. And when he moved away and went to college, I missed those drums. So.
As a mother or a parent, do you need a lot of patience with a musician?
I think so. I think they're very creative, and but I feel like I always had the patience and just let him kind of explore what he wanted to do, and just let him have the freedom to practice and do the drums, and he even taught himself how to play guitar. So, yeah.
When he was in his little band his garage band or whatever, did they come to your house and practice?
They did. They practiced actually in our garage sometimes. Okay. And sometimes in the house. But I loved it. I love it. I love music.
Did him and his bandmates have disagreements?
Well, you know, they were teenagers. They were teenage boys, and I'm sure they, not that I know of, they all seemed to get along really well and just seemed to chill. But once they got older, they all went their separate ways. So.
When Cameron was growing up, were you always playing music in the house?
Oh yes, Elvis. Elvis was a big influence in our lives. My mom loved Elvis, and so do the boys. So but yeah, music has always been a major part of our lives and his.
And what do you think about the band Donnie and the Dry Heavers?
I love Donnie and the Dry Heavers.
Me too.
Their name is just awesome, and every one of those boys in the band are just awesome young men, and they're all just, you can tell they have a passion to do what they do.
Well, when you first heard the name, did you like it?
I did. It was just, you know, I wouldn't have expected anything less.
But they told me that they changed names every different show.
Yes.
So they came up with this one.
Yeah, this name kind of stuck, I think, and it's just become, everybody just wants to know where Donnie is, and it's just funny, but I love it. The music is awesome, their sound is great, and they just, they do a great job.
It's such an unusual name. Where did you get that from?
His father named him. He had the tarot deck read on my pregnancy before Magus was born, and the Magus was the main card. It was the first card that was turned up. So it's plural for it's singular for Magi. So it's the wise one, you know, and it's magic, and it's anything you really want it to be. So
Yeah. I had
That's a name you won't forget.
never. And actually, before I found out I was pregnant with Jake, I went to see a fortune teller, first one I ever been to. She told me, she said, you know, you're gonna have a son. He's gonna be born on the full moon, and he's going to be like a little voodoo child. And I'm like, right, you know. That was in October. I found out I was pregnant in November. So like when he sings Voodoo Child and says, you know, the gypsy woman told my mama. She did. She told me that he was coming. So between his little magic and Magus's magic, it was like destiny. So.
creative child is amazing to raise. So just patience.
Extra amazing to raise.
And attentiveness.
Yeah.
And give them space to be creative.
Space.
So where do you see Jake 10 years from now?
I see Jake on a stage, a big stage, but I see him happy. But I don't know where or what he's doing. I know it's music, but momentum's building, and as long as that kid's smiling and them eyes are shut and he's on them tippy toes playing, I don't care where he's at. But as long as he's fulfilling that soul.
And sure, where do you see Magus and Arthur in 10 years?
Wow. 10 years. I don't really look at life like that.
As long as they're happy, right?
Exactly, because I know they'll always be searching for happiness, and when they find it, they'll know they're secure there. But I've always taught them to live in the moment, because that's really all you have.
That's it.
And you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and you don't know what you're going to be interested in tomorrow. So
It may change.
yeah, so I don't put an expectation on it, because I don't want them to think they failed me in any way.
Right,
So I don't put that on it. Main thing is that they're good, that they do the right thing.
Be kind.
Be kind.
That's it. Just be
Don't
kind.
lie. Be honest, because your word is all you've got sometimes.
The biggest challenge for Logan, well, there's been finding his group, finding his rhythm with the right people, and not that there's anything wrong with the people that he doesn't play with anymore that he's played with before, but just that they didn't necessarily mesh with him, and
They got a click.
yeah, it's got to be a good fit. I think Dave Grohl once, said that it's like, you find people you like, then you go into a garage and you beat on things until it sounds good, And I think that's really, really true, and it has to fit. You kind of have to share a little bit of a vision for how you want to sound, how you want to be, how you what you want to project,
So, what advice do you have for parents that are raising a young musician?
Be as supportive as you can possibly be. You know, keep one foot grounded in reality. Because it's a hard thing to break into. It really is. But be supportive. Don't be dismissive. Because you never know what's truly in their hearts and what it might mean to them. You know, I think everyone now has this moments of wanting to be internet famous. I think Andy Warhol once said, in the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. You know, and there's a lot of that, especially with young people, that they want to be the next YouTube sensation or whatever. But you don't know what's genuine and what's not, and what's a fleeting thing. And if they express that interest, support it as much as you possibly can. Now, maybe you can go out and buy instruments. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can, maybe you know something about it, maybe you don't, but I think just be supportive in as many ways as you possibly can be. I think that's the main thing. And I think that's kind of universal with music, with anything, whatever their interests are. Let them have their interests, let them be themselves and find find what speaks to them and what puts a fire in their gut, because they need it.
When did you notice that Ryan was getting really serious with music? Maybe you thought he wanted to be this as a career.
The day that we came home from his signing up at college at Northeast State, he said, I'm going to try this, Mom, but I really think I just want to play the guitar. And so he gave it a try, and it wasn't for him. So he's found a way to make music here in Bristol and work a day job, and he just really enjoys it. He's living the dream. Ryan, he's always saying, I'm living the dream.
Have you ever wanted to do something more other than music?
I just want to, I always just wanted him to do something that made him happy, and music has always made him happy. Guitar, just, the guitar. It's like, if you took Ryan and took away his guitar, you might as well just cut off his legs or something. He just couldn't make it.
That's what all the mothers said. They want their sons to be happy.
Yes, all mothers want their children to be happy, and whatever that might be. Especially, there's not enough, I don't think, that support the arts.
It's true. What is the biggest challenge for you as a parent?
Biggest challenge as a parent? Well, I think it's the critics, because every artist or every musician is going to have people say, oh, I don't like that music, oh, it's too loud, or,
Have you heard somebody booing?
So-and-so's better. No, I haven't heard that, but you still hear people say, well, I don't like it when when he plays with that band, or I don't like, this. So that's hard as a parent to hear somebody kind of criticize your kid, but he doesn't, pay any attention to it, so just move on. But that's kind of hard.